Hey there, everyone. It's Julie Hutchison here from Think Be Do Leadership, and welcome to day 23 of Communication Fest. 30 days of communication tips for impact, for influence, to help you to grow your business, and grow your opportunities. So we are on day 23. If you're listening live, say hello. Hi, everyone. If you're listening on replay, if you want to make a comment, just put hashtag replay and we will answer your comments. So what we are talking about today is how to sound interesting, even if you don't feel very interesting, or even if you're not the most confident speaker, or you are not really outgoing and you're not full of energy. How to sound more interesting, how to get people's interest in what you've got to say. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I don't know about you, but if you've ever been in a situation where, like, oh my goodness, somebody is going on and on and on, and I call it droning on about something. If you're in a meeting, or if you're standing by the water cooler, and somebody just goes on and on and on about the same old thing. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this was because yesterday evening, which you'll probably tell by the bags under my eyes, I had to take my daughter to hospital because she fell off a scooter, cut her lip. And there was a woman in there who did nothing but drone on and on and on. She was actually very loud, spent most of the time on her phone, complaining about the hospital and how ridiculous it was that she had to wait. And bearing in mind, we were in minor injuries. So other people, in resuscitation were probably getting much more attention much faster than we were. So we were patiently waiting, except her. And she was droning on and on and on. Now, initially, people had some sympathy with her because she was an old lady and she didn't really want to be there, and neither did we. So we were all like, oh, having to wait. But we understand why. But because she went on and on and on in the same way all the time, which was a very loud way, it became very uncomfortable to listen to, very difficult to hear. And eventually, I may have had to have a few words with the lady in the sense that to tell her when she said, well, it would have been faster if I was bleeding on the floor. I did tell her that if she were bleeding on the floor, she wouldn't be in the minor injuries, she would be somewhere else. However, so what I'm trying to say is that if you have ever been in that situation where somebody is just droning on in the same way all the time, it doesn't matter whether it's always loud or it doesn't matter if it's always quiet. If it's monotone and just the same old thing, or even saying the same old thing again and again and again, our brains can't take it. They don't want to hear it. In fact, they switch off from it most of the time. And it's a bit like if you ever watched Snoopy as a kid, if you're old enough to watch Snoopy as a kid, the teacher was like, wah, wah, wah. That's all you could hear from that teacher. And it's a bit like that. If you stay in the same tone, or you say the same thing all the time, so you're repeating, then your brain is just going to go, I've heard this before, I'm not interested, and I don't want to hear it. Not an interesting thing. So if you're always really quiet, or you're always at the same tonality, so you talk like this and you always want to, you just going to be telling them that you do the spreadsheet like this and you do everything like that, and it's really, really boring because it's just all in one tone. Oh, I did a different tone at the end there, didn't I? But if you make your words, what you say, I'm going to talk about that as well, because I think it's part of both things. What you say, if you say it differently, and you use different tones and different ways of speaking, then you start to bring in more variety. Now, we all need a bit of variety, don't we? And your brain picks up on that variety and thinks, oh, it's something different, it's something new, let me listen. Yeah. And that's why tonality is super important when you're speaking. So if I speak at one tone, I can speak really loudly all the time and get really, really like that. I can't do it on this because it would be far too much. But if I speak like this all the time, it's still monotone. It's just at a high tone. But I could speak really low and just really boring all the time because this is where I don't sit, and this is I'm going to stay here because it's just like the same and I feel comfortable. Again, super boring. It doesn't matter what I'm saying. The fact that the tone is the same will make other people switch off. So we have to emphasize different points. We have to go up when we want to ask a question or when we want somebody to take an interest. We have to go down when we want to sound perhaps a little bit more serious, for example. So there are many different ways of changing your tonality. And I want you to think about, how well do you do that? How well do you gain the interest of people through the ebbs and flows of your voice, the ebbs and flows of the conversation that you're having? Or are you just like a really calm sea that people forget is there? So the change is what makes people sit and listen. It's the change is what makes people feel there's some variety and some interest in what you're saying. If you add into that, stop repeating yourself, i.e., don't say the same thing over and over again. You know, people do, you hear it and they say, you wonder, like, do they not realize I've already said that to me? Is change up what you're talking about, change the way you're talking to people. And then again, it's that variety that makes our brain switch on and think, oh, this is new, this is interesting, I need to listen. So that's just a quick one today, because I want you to think about that. And I want you to watch yourself on TV again by listening to yourself and maybe even recording yourself when you're speaking. How well do I change my tonality? Do I have variety? Do I go up, down, louder, softer? And we can even look at pace as well if you want to really give yourself a thing. Is, do I slow down? Do I speed up? Do I take pauses? It's another one. We should talk about that tomorrow. So it's really interesting when you start to hear yourself as to how much your tonality does or doesn't change. And then for fun, start listening to other people in the meetings that you're in and when you're talking to friends. Hear how well they change that tonality and notice your response to them. When they have a change in tonality, let's hear how much more interesting they feel. See if I'm right. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about today. Thank you very much. If that's been useful to you, we have 22 other days already that we've done. Please go find them. They're all on YouTube on our channel, and they're all in LinkedIn and Facebook. And we have another 6 days left. So please come and watch the rest of them. And if you would like to find out how you can improve the communication and influence and impact in your business for your team or for yourself, then give us a shout, because we have a couple of programs that you may well be very interested in. One, our Confident Communicator 12-week program, and 2, our in-house program, where if you have a whole team or you want to just work on this for the whole business, then we can come in and help you there. So see you soon. See you tomorrow, hopefully, for the next Communication Fest tip. It's Julie Hutchison from Think, Be, Do Leadership, with some different tones there.